Here are your precious worms. That buys us a trip to the top of the tower, does it not? Glazed wrigglers! You actually brought them! I really shouldn't let you, but just this once, alright? Only once. Never fails, shall we?
Look, over there, where the wall is broken. Do you see what lies beyond? That's what the land became after the light flooded in. An empty, white nothingness. Life cannot exist in such conditions. The primordial light would wreak havoc on the body's etheric balance. That nectarine you bought, it's Halric's favorite fruit. Most of the patients, Halric included, survived the attacks of powerful eaters. But their fate was sealed all the same. The monster's corruption has entered their bodies, and their very essence is being subsumed by light. The twisted state of the world itself just makes matters worse. Under normal circumstances, a person's ether naturally tends to equilibrium. But for these poor souls, the opposite is true. Sooner or later, every single one of them will turn. Tesleen and the patients, they all know this. They know what has to be done before the change goes too far, before the eater within takes over. The preferred method is mixing poison into their favorite food. In my time here, I've borne witness to a lot of last meals. I feel just as helpless as before. No matter how hard I fight, it's never enough. But it's a war I mean to wage, nonetheless. Speaking of wars, do you remember how I made you promise not to leave me and then promptly collapsed? Well, let's just say I had a few choice words for the Exarch concerning the timing of his summons. But even if the fault lay with someone else, I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd abandon you on the battlefield. So I swore that I'd make up for my absence there by making a difference here. And that's what keeps me moving forward, even when things seem hopeless. On which note, it's time we headed back. The longer we keep Tesleen waiting, the harder this will be for her.
I'm glad I was able to show you that when it comes to understanding the catastrophe which befell the first, one glimpse of the empty wasteland beyond the wall is worth more than an hour of Oryange's lecturing. And I needed to let you know, beyond a doubt, that Tesleen has no other choice than nectarine would be kindness. It isn't just the threat posed to others. When a person becomes an eater, the pain appears to be excruciating. The carers are truly fond of their wards and would spare them that suffering. It is their way of fighting back against a fate worse than death. And let's just teleport. You're back. I hope you had a nice time. Did you manage to find a nectarine? Thank you. Alice has explained why I wanted this hashi. I can see it in your eyes. But we may not need it just yet. I spoke with the others and we've decided to keep it on hold for now. Thanks to you though, if his time does come suddenly, we'll be ready to send him on his way with a taste of happier days. Time left to us. Well, nothing is going to happen for a little while yet, so let's see if we can't lighten the mood. We don't want our gloomy faces worrying the patients. I think it's time for that welcome meal, don't you? Take a seat and I'll make us a nice stew.
Speak up if you'd like another helping. I made a little bit more than usual today.
And you've added something special to the broth, if I'm not mistaken.
Aye, well, it's not often we have visitors from the Crystarium, so I may have thrown in a few extra bits and bobs. Oh, it's nothing, really. And we do so rarely have guests. In a place like this, you learn to take what moments of happiness you can get. I remember when I first came here with my mother. She was showing the early signs. I knew there was no way to save her, but I just couldn't face what needed to be done. That's the way of it for most people. Why they travel from arms to stay here. Beaten, broken souls come to wait out the inevitable, to receive the mercy of a painless death. When my mother finally left this world, I was mad with grief, but also thankful that her passing was a peaceful one. It's never easy, ending a life you've cared for, even when you believe they go on to a better place. I often find myself wishing the Warrior of Darkness would come and do that part for me.
The Warrior of Darkness?
You've never heard the tale? I'm not sure where it began, but every child in Norvrant could tell you a version of it. Warrior of Darkness, servant of death, take care of our souls at our dying breath. Let sinners and eaters of sin go with thee, that all may return to the sunless sea. Well, that's the version I was taught anyway. It's just an old bedtime story. He's certainly never deigned to visit us here.
Which is a good thing, surely. He sounds rather ominous.
Do you think so? I always liked the idea that he treated every soul the same, even the Sin Eaters.
They're coming.
Desleen! Have you seen Halric? I swear, I only took my eyes off him for a moment.
We have to go look for Halric. I don't know what's got into him, but if he's wandering out there alone, we'll assign search areas and split up. Any idea where he might be headed? No, he's never done anything like this before, but it can't be a coincidence that the other patients are suddenly so agitated they can sense something. In any case, let's keep the search close to the inn. Halric isn't very sure on his feet, so he won't have gone far. I'll search the east side. Please, Halric, be alright. I'll cover the north and west, then. You take everything from here to the south. Deja vu of FF11. What are you doing? He's got a stick. Alright. All you need is a stick.
Any sign of him? No luck then. But he surely can't have gone far. We should keep looking. The Sin Eaters are out in force, and if we don't find him soon, you can be sure they will.
It's kind of interesting she was missing Alphinaud so bad, and here she is, totally nowhere near him.
Did you see the size of that thing? It must be one of the nasty ones. Wherever it's going, it can only mean There it is! Is that... Oh no!
Wasn't this two birds, one stone?
We have to run!
Uh-oh. Oh no.
Tesseline! No!
We all deserve happiness, wherever we can find it. The time left to you is precious. No one should die in pain. Mother, I...
That's horrific. god. The tongue, really? That was a fast transformation.
No, 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 no! Forgive me, Alice.
This expansion is pretty morbid. The very first thing we see is a friend we made, and he gets eaten. And now we're already killing off new friends. And a pretty gross transformation. This is very not FF at all. Where are the fat chocobos? When you need them. I'm sorry. I tried to tell the carers what happened, but I can't be the shoulder they lean on. Not like this. It's just so unfair. Tesselin was always so cheery with the patients, telling them not to be scared, that there wouldn't be any pain. Of all the people in the world to suffer such a fate. I imagine you're just as shocked as the rest of us, so I appreciate what you're doing here. Me? I barely don't have the words. Without a body, we can't even give her a proper burial. And she cared about that sort of thing, about giving people the chance to say their goodbyes. Ulrich is as unresponsive as ever. He stands motionless, staring up into the sky where the Sin Eaters made their escape. Thank you. What you're doing. It means a lot to them. To me. Sorry to interrupt. We realized we hadn't thanked you for rescuing Ulrich. You weren't hurt at all, were you? Hurt? There wasn't even a fight. I was too late, too slow, and I thought I could protect you. You can't blame yourself for things beyond your control. You brought Ulrich back safe and sound. No one could have done any more. I'm sorry, but I've come to a decision. I won't be continuing my role here. I hope you'll forgive me for leaving you, and that you'll delay Ulrich's last meal for as long as you possibly can. Not until it's too late, of course. Just give him what time you can. We always do. Of course, she would have done the same. Farewell, Ulrich. Keep Tesselin's words close to your heart. What, you're leaving this very moment? I understand how you must feel, but surely this is a bit hasty, do you even have anywhere to go? I have a destination in mind, yes, and a purpose. This damned light, building without cease, it's the reason we can't save those corrupted by the Eaters. But what if we corrected the balance? Even if it were only little by little, even if it took years, it would surely make things better. Now hold on there, everyone knows there's too much light. But how could you ever hope to get rid of it? You'd have to change the whole world. That's right. We should return to the Crystarium. I may not be able to repel the Eaters on my own, but I can still use the skills I gained here to hurt them. Teleporting to you, Mordsuk. We are supposed to get something. Bicolored gemstones. Forgive me, I couldn't stay there a moment longer, but I was serious about what I said. While the men and women at the inn battle against this blight with kindness, I must fight it in my own way, with steel. Miss Alize, is there anything I can get you? That's pretty. Your swiftest armoro. I need to return to the Crystarium immediately. As you wish. This is really cool gear. Wow. Scallop jacket of casting. It's just something I've never noticed before. And a Bona Whisper mask. Huh. Very cool. Ugh, remind me to wear goggles if we ever fly over Orang again. I've barely gotten the sand in my eyes. But the wind did help to clear my head at least. I think I'm ready to meet the Exarch. We need to talk about how we're going to wipe the Sin Eaters out, shall we? Thank you for seeking me out. It meant a lot to have you there at my side. I was tempted to set off again the moment we had decided upon a direction, but you still have to visit Alphanode, haven't you? Don't you? And if I know my brother, he'll be on the cusp of discovering something vital to our success, if he hasn't already. I'm content to stay here and consider our options for the time being, but don't keep me waiting too long. See, what did I tell you? I totally told you. Whatever. It's fine. I don't mind. And so if you haven't noticed, you're going to see these numbers every time we zone in. That means we are in instance 1. And right now, since the servers are so busy, there's probably 3 instances. I'll probably be around for like a month. As long as the server lags a little bit, and then they'll go away. We'll all be on the same one, but not all your friends are going to be here. They might be on instance 1, etc. I think eventually you'll be able to choose which instance you go to, and then they'll just disappear. We're going to travel to Clusia.
The whistling breeze, mute. The pounding surf, frozen. Time itself takes a breath. At light's edge, all is perfectly still. The world captured in a painting, locked in a moment. Music, faint and fleeting, drifts coastward on the lifeless air. And in the distance, beyond the broken earth, a city beckons.
Isn't there always a really bright, balloony type city sitting precariously on a rock or in the sky that looks like a bad idea structurally? We are arrived. This is Cracked Shell Beach on the eastern coast of Clusia. We should be safe here for the present. Compared to the mainland, Sin Eater attacks are far less prevalent, and the native beasts are not any more dangerous than anywhere. It is the people you should be wary of. I like this beach. Spy that city in the distance? That's Yulmore, the island's main settlement. It rivals the Crystarium in scale, and was once an ally in our battle against the abominations. For years, the Yulmoran elite have fancied themselves the masters of what remains of our broken world. They have gone as far as to offer the leaders of other settlements their protection if we bend the knee. I was thinking it sounded like that. Clusia. But maybe wise to conceal your ties with the Exarch during your stay here, especially in the vicinity of the city. I'm glad we understand each other now. The Exarch has instructed me to divulge a secret that should make finding your friend a good deal easier. Listen closely. In search of Alphina. If you head south along the coast, you'll eventually come to a fisherman's shack. A friend of the Crystarium lives there, a man who goes by the name of Eivor. Eivor keeps an eye on everything that happens in Clusia, and will be able to point you in the right direction. Just hand him a sprig of thyme, and that will let him know you can be trusted. Here, this should be enough. Find your friend. I will stay here at the Amaro until you're ready to return. Have you looked at this Amaro? Looks like a camel with feathers. Not bad. Let's see. What you after? Fish? Crab? I think I've got an eel in a barrel somewhere if you've a taste for them. No. I do love a bit of thyme. Chuck some in the pan and it's like bloody festival flavor. Now what is it I can do for you? I can't say as there's been any major upsets to report these past few weeks. You're gonna say all this right in front of that guy? He's a kid. Big kitty. Horned kitty. He looks really dapper too. That one looks so nice. Alphanet, eh? Aye, I know the one. Our young champion of the downtrodden. Yours richer than all of Norvrant put together. But it's a different story for them as live outside the city. Most spend every waking moment just trying to stay alive, which makes your friend's dedication to helping others stand out all the more. I can hazard a guess as to where he is now. Get a message to him, but you'll need somewhere quiet to meet, away from prying eyes. Make for Stilltide. That's the fishing village just up the path there. You're looking for a run-down excuse for a tavern. The locals call it the Leaky Keel. Wait there, and you'll see that Alphaner joins you. This is your first time in a tavern. It's customary to buy a drink if you mean to loiter. What'll you be having? The heck is that? Ale. And what'll you be paying with? Errands? Well now, those are exotic. Where did you come by coins like that? Sorry, dear, I don't doubt they have value, but I don't have a touchstone to test their purity, and I'm not about to go begging for one of them neighbors. So we'll just have to come to some other arrangements. I told you, errands. Here's an idea. There's a common to the north where we grow our vegetables. For lately the pests have been eating more of them than we have. What do you say to a bit of extermination work? I want you to squash any vermin you find. Offer a beer? Come on. Then visit the caretaker and give him an earful from me for sleeping on the job. He'll be in the old silo, next to the fence, snoring like as not. Do that for me, and you can laze about here as long as you like. Warrior of darkness, here I come. Errand girl. Oh, this is a cool little garden. Nice tall fence. Click it. Kill. Have someone kill it for you. Be helpful. It's not that kind of game. Cannot be. It just hates him. See the clicking stuff that's not going off? You hear faint squeaking from the room beyond. Time to burst in and save the day, brave adventurer. Please don't be gross. No one's home, and judging by the lack of furniture, they haven't for some time. The gnawed scraps of vegetables on the floor suggest rats have taken up residence in their absence. Oh good, we don't have to look at the rats. Welcome back, dear. What did that good-for-nothing caretaker have to say for himself? Nothing. Gone? Must have joined the rest of the hopefuls. In Gate Town, outside Ulmar. You don't have a clue what I'm talking about, do you? And I was thinking you were another dreamer. Well, never mind all that. Take a seat wherever you like, dear. You've more than earned it. I'll even throw in another drink on the house. If you don't pick more vegetables, more rats. I look comfortable. I want the blue one.
And how is business today, Mistress Theva?
Oh, frenetic. Look, I have a new customer.
Tis good to see you, my friend. The barley seeds you wanted. They should produce a better harvest than the last.
What, just like that? Oh, Alfie, no, you really are a dear. Well, I'd best be tidying up some of those empty shacks before the pests move in. Keep an eye on the place while I'm out, eh?
It seems an age since last we spoke. Not since the prisoner exchange in Doma. And Yotsu. It has been even longer for me, of course, if you count the days I've spent here. But the time has only added to the relief I feel seeing you safe and well. Huh. Alize said much the same thing. I don't think I've ever had such a scolding. But I believe an exchange of news is in order. Come, tell me of your arrival and all that came before.
Isn't anyone worried that their bodies are back home, like, rotting?
I see. Both the Exarch and Alize told me what they knew of events, but I had stubbornly clung on to the hope that all-out war might yet be avoidable. And poor Tataru. She must be sick with worry. We must endeavor to return as soon as we may. It would be nice to bring her good tidings for a change. But before we bid this world farewell, we must first ensure that it is not rejoined to the source. We must prevent the 8th Umbral calamity. Urianger's vision of the future has, I fear, every chance of coming true. By his description, the catalyst for the calamity was a formless and deadly weapon employed by the Garlean Empire. Which can only mean one thing. Black Rose. Gaius was telling you the truth. When we were on the trail of the Ascians, we saw evidence that the gas was being manufactured once more. Gaius was adamant that the project had been scrapped, but so long as there are wars to be waged, there will always be those determined to win by any means. And thus simply destroying the existing stores of Black Rose would do little to alter fate's course. In that sense, our involuntary journey here to the First was something of a boon. Together with the Exarch, we've developed a theory as to how we believe the rejoining will be set in motion. I'm sure Urianger himself will cover the subject in more detail. But I can tell you the process requires that both worlds, the Source and the First, be facing an existential threat. One being Sin Eaters, of course. They are a menace that I would dearly love to remove, and not just to avert a calamity. I may be a stranger to this world, but I will not stand idly by and let innocent people be slaughtered. That is what brought me to the gates of Yulmore. Ignoring its pretensions as a kind of capital city to what remains of the world, it is nonetheless a center of power and authority. If any solutions are to be found, I believe our search should begin there. What say you, old friend? Hungry for another adventure? And so we take to the road once more.
Let's make our way outside the city. If we time our arrival just right, you may be lucky enough to see why I have yet to set foot in Yulmore, despite my best efforts to do so. Come, from here we must head west and then cross a small bridge. Colossia seems peaceful, does it not? Almost familiar? I had a similar impression of the Crystarium. Even in this distant world, people are much the same. To think that whenever a calamity struck the source, a reflection such as this one, with all its culture and history, was being erased from existence. No! Get away from me! Over there! Quick! Someone's in trouble! Oh, thank the fates! Look out! My poor heart. Thank you, young miss. Ah, there you are. In my haste, I lost my bearings. But I see you have the situation well in hand. Fine work. Are you all right, madam? Just a few bruises from where I fell, nothing compared to what was in store for me before this brave soul came to my rescue. I honestly thought I was done for. My feet are not as swift as they once were, and I knew there was no one left to hear me scream. Not that I let that stop me. I should probably leave my old house behind and queue up outside Yulmore with the rest of them. Doubt those fancied lords and ladies would welcome an old crone like me. Still, even a shack near the gate has to be safer than staying here. One would hope. Either way, I suggest you avoid wandering alone lest you make the Sin Eater's task any easier. Thank you again. You saved my life, and I'm sure a strapping lass like you has little to fear, but I wouldn't linger long in this place. There's nothing to be had here but cobwebs and memories. 'Tis as the lady says, many in these parts have abandoned their homes to live in Ylmer's shadows. Should the Sin Eaters descend upon this region, there are precious few with the strength to fight them off. Speaking of which, what have you been told of these monsters? Ah, yes, Alize would be well qualified to speak on the subject. Compared with Amarang, Colosio is almost a haven, but as you saw, we cannot let our guard down. Had you arrived but a few moments later, the Sin Eaters would have claimed another victim. Still, we have won a small victory this time, at least. Now, shall we press on? We need to return to where the road forks, and follow the path that leads west.
That gate up ahead is known as the Open Arms, and Ylmer itself lies beyond. This, meanwhile, is the aptly named Gate Town, the dwelling place of the many desperate souls who hope to be chosen to live in the city proper.
Ah, I thought I recognized you. Brought a new friend, eh? I'll bet you got a trick or two up your sleeve. Maybe even 3. Care to show me?
She's not here to compete. Leave her be.
What? I was only making conversation.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please! Greetings to our hopeful petitioners, one and all! Ylmer extends its warmest regards. Let it be known that a lady of distinction wishes to dine on fish divine. We seek a master culinarian who can guarantee seafood perfection. Dazzle the matron with your delicious dishes, and life in the city will be yours to enjoy, even on days when fish is not on the menu! Who among you will answer the call? Name yourself or another. We may not at all.
Fish, is it? Was there anyone?
What about that girl?
Do you recall how I said Ylmer was a center of power and authority? Well, that is not the only reason for its fame. It is also known as the City of Final Pleasures. The noble and the wealthy who survived the flood gathered here to live out the rest of their days in decadent abandon. A poor man could sooner pass through the eye of a needle than Ylmer's gates. The only way the common folk can enter this perverted paradise is if they fulfill the whim of one of the privileged. And so they are picked over like market produce.
be throwing this one back. Having seen your all too obvious charms, we welcome you with open arms. Come, join us in the city of splendor and live out your life in an ecstasy of endeavor. Oh, just look at those expectant faces. What could you possibly be waiting for? Well, what have we here? An extra share of meal to celebrate our newest resident! For you!
Ah, at last!
Enjoy!
Thank goodness.
Meal is a foodstuff which Yulmore routinely doles out to the people of Gatetown, and apparently a staple for its citizens as well. Many here rely on it to survive in these times of scarcity. Yet the whole arrangement just seems... well, let us just say it leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Now you understand why my attempts to enter the city have thus far come to naught. The dubious privilege of residency must be won via a contest with ever-changing rules. They say this policy has been in place for the past 2 decades, ever since Yulmore's current ruler came into power. Yet from what I've seen, it does more harm than good. Not only does it distract people from our shared struggle against the Sin Eaters, it robs them of their self-sufficiency. I have tried to propose ways that they could improve their lot, but my words invariably fall on deaf ears. The attitude is so entrenched now, I worry that, well, mayhap you should take a turn around Gatetown and judge the situation for yourself. Still here, are you? Can't blame you for wanting a slice of Yulmore's pie. If you ask me, you should ditch that sour-faced brat and make a home for yourself here. Gatetown's not much to look at, aye, but at least it's safe, and the meal is the best thing I've ever tasted. Just look at it. Can you imagine a more beautiful city? Every day I dream of the life that awaits for me inside those walls. Oh, will they ever pick me? This is a lookout quest. / lookout. Sightseeing log. And there is an ether current. Seen what Gatetown has to offer? These people can no longer fend for themselves. They become dependent on handouts of meal, and believe Yulmore is the answer to all of their woes. Yet no matter how I frame my encouragement, they seem unwilling, nay, unable to conceive of any other way of life. Sounds like a Republican. Waste. You disapprove of these people's way of life, or you disapprove of Yulmore? looks like he's pouting. Disapprove, it frustrates me, certainly. That is only part of it, though. The whole situation makes me uneasy. Not that it matters, however unjust this system seems to me if these people claim to be content with their lot. It is hardly my place to criticize their choices. But take that elderly lady you rescued. Does it not seem that those who have chosen to forego Ylmer's largesse are doomed to suffer for their independence? I heard we don't have largesse anymore. In the end, they are all but forced to seek refuge in Gate Town, and so hamlets and fields across the island are left empty and untended, hastening the region's descent into ruin. Nay, I am not convinced that Ylmer's generosity truly serves the best interest of Clusia's people. I am not so naive to think that there is some miraculous solution to all this. I cannot help frown at the sight of hard-working villagers struggling to survive, even as the chosen few rejoice at being plucked from poverty by the hand of a capricious noble. What of Mule's people? Like green crackers. There has to be a better way. I will not know for sure, however, until I have taken those long-delayed steps through Ylmer's gates. 'Tis fortunate that you arrived when you did, Chloe. I have been working on a scheme to insinuate myself into the city. If all goes to plan, it should soon come to fruition. There is a beast tribe who makes its home in the seas surrounding the island. The Ondo they are called, though you and I know them as Sahagin. For the most part they keep to themselves in their ocean grottos, and rarely have dealings with land dwellers. But as Tataru took such great pains to impress upon me during our stage in Kugani, business favors the bold, and so I reached out to them. I had duly discovered that the Ondu are inordinately fond of land-grown produce, fresh fruits in particular, and when I offered to produce such goods for them, they promised to pay me in pearls. An attractive business venture for any prospective investor, would you not agree? Surely even the most jaded Ylmoran lord would have time for a merchant who could make pearls from plums and pumpkins. Yes, I've come a long way since my days of buying samurai swords without first negotiating a price. My appointment with the Ondo is due to take place in a few hours. I just need to collect the produce and meet with them on the shore. You want me to pick fruit. Might you help me make the exchange? Excellent. I should be glad of your company. First things first, then, we must pay a visit to Masha Moa, my supplier in right. Come, it is just to the northwest of here. Is there something I can do for you, friend? Good day to you, Mushamoa. This is my associate. We are here to collect the produce I purchased. Eh? I loaded your lackey up with the goods not long ago. My lackey? I know of no such person. Mr. Lad, short blue hair. No, he said he'd come on your behalf, and since he seemed to know all the details, I just assumed. Confound it! Someone must have been eavesdropping on our conversation. If this charlatan was here not long ago, he could not have gone far. We should split up and search the area. You find a vantage point on the south side of town, and I shall take the west. It's very pretty. I wonder if we can swim in it. Search the surroundings for a male mistal with short blue hair. You may move the camera in and out and target him. So you can. If you have a controller like me, go left, go right with your right knob. Zoom in with the left. Or if you have a PC, you can just simply move around with your right click button. Your scrolling button does work. I'll have to click it. Or X button. It's an interesting, teeny tiny minigame, but I'm not entirely sure it has a whole lot of purpose. Any sign of him? Yep. Right there. You have a keen eye. Let us move in before he makes good his escape. With the Grey Wolf thief.
There you are. The thief who claims the harvest on my behalf. Hand it over.
Well, forgive me. I have to get into the city. I have no family and all my friends have already been chosen. No one here gives a damn about me. When the meal gets handed out, I'm lucky if I get a smell of it. No matter what I do, they won't call out my name. I'm so tired, I'm so bloody hungry.
They are your friends. You don't want to eat them.
I thought maybe I could steal your idea, get in that way.
What is your name?
Kai Shear.
Tell me then, Kai Shear. Must it be Yulmore or nothing? What of the Crystarium? They may not offer charity, but you would be fairly compensated for any work you did.
No, it has to be Yulmore. That's where all my friends are. We made a promise that we'd live together in paradise.
I was to make my deal with the Ondo at the Clave. Listen carefully, and I shall tell you my plans for the business, and how best to arouse the Yulmoran's interest.
You'll give me your place? Just like that?
I'm giving you a chance, nothing more. What comes of it is entirely up to you.
I understand. Oh, thank you, thank you!
This was but one path. There will be others. But for young Kai Shear, it was the difference between life and death. I do not regret my decision, yet I will admit that a part of me wonders if it was for the best. We strive to bring swift salvation to this world, that countless lives might be saved, not least your own. Even if it came at the cost of one man, should I have forged on regardless? I suppose not. Were Estinian here, he would most likely scoff at my soft-heartedness.
Same old Alfino, ever the slave to sentiment.
But I thank you for your kind words nonetheless. Let us see to it that both these stories have a happy ending. Shall we return to Wright then?
Good intentions. And then he turned him into a cookie.
Is that?
Good eyes.
I can't be sure, but I think someone's in trouble. Come on. They may need our help.
Alright, so tell me why people would be worried about A ranks in a game that's less than 24 hours old. Also, remember, every time you change or discover new areas, you get experience points. That should take care of his worst injuries. I beg you. Breathe easy, sir. No harm will come to you here. The poor man is shivering. Pray, keep an eye on him while I get a fire going. Is that Alpha Note or White Mage? Thought for certain I was dead. How am I ever to pay this kindness? We'll settle for the tale behind your current predicament. Why don't you begin by telling us your name? Bob. Tristal. I was invited into Yulmore to work as an artist. A wealthy couple took me in to paint pictures for them, but when my style proved contrary to their taste, they just as quickly turfed me out onto the street. I was left penniless and patronless, a grave sin in Lord of Vothfried's city. Within days they had brought me before the man himself, and he asked me what I meant to do. Dejected as I was, I told him that I wished to leave. Little did I know how soon he would grant me my wish. They flung me over the balustrade into the God's damned ocean. From up there? How are you not dashed to pieces? Don't ask me. Luck, I suppose, though if you hadn't found me when you did, wouldn't have counted for much. Monstrous. And the citizens condone such barbaric punishment. Oh, without a second thought, when Lord Vothfried passes judgment, no one so much as blinks, let alone argues. When Yulmore, his word is law. The more I hear about Yulmore, the more determined I am to see what waits within its walls. I shall bend all my thoughts towards securing another way into the city. There must be something we can do. But first, we should convey Tristal to the shelter of the village. Fire or no fire, he needs to be out of this chilly coastal air. Fat cat. Away into the city?